And here we go with the second game of the series. Looks like Gatsu's team got all their bands. So we're going to start with draft again. And see what we got. So we got the first pick, Hecarim. I'm guessing it was just trying to be a pick away. Honestly, Hecarim's kind of one of those picks where you kind of have to snowball on it to have the impact that you would want on a jungler like that. In the other game, the Hecarim wasn't necessarily snowballing. It was, Hecarim was ahead, but it wasn't necessarily snowballing, so it wasn't showing the power that it could definitely have comparatively in a team fight. It's pretty good though, because with Onslaught of Shadows, you'd be able to spread them out, kind of break apart the enemy team and everything, which is kind of nice, which helps the Swain and the Sivir be able to pick down individuals and have the Malzahar be able to ult maybe a problematic person that gets pushed into you. So it's pretty interesting. The Taric ban, I'm guessing, is because Stark is in this game, and Stark is a pretty big Taric player. And it's definitely a worthwhile ban. The only issue is that I personally like Taric with the Tristana pick, which they end up doing anyway. So they're still going with the Tristana, which is fine. You're going for a more all-in kind of situation, because if you look at the bot lane, it's Tristana Nautilus versus Morgana Caitlyn. Basically, if the Tristana Nautilus get some kind of lead, they'll be able to try to go all in over and over and over, which is what you need to do. But if they don't get any kind of lead, they're probably just going to get pushed in, and the Tristana is going to get probably fall pretty far behind, because Caitlyn just outranges and outtrades early on without all-ins pretty well. We saw Caitlyn Morgana in a couple of the LCS games this weekend just run train on people and just destroy them, just because binding into trap is like half your HP automatically, and you can't really respond to it, so really rough. Annie in the mid lane versus, I'm going to guess, either the Vlad or the Akali. Better into Vlad early on, or Vlad's better into the Annie early on, just because you have both ranged. It's harder for the Annie to walk up and take trades on you, because you can trade right back immediately. The Akali, though, does have some nice kill pressure later on, without the Annie having the Zhonya's and stuff. And if she misses her Q, or if she has the only thing that's targeted is her Q, so there is some ways to play around with the Shroud, trying to dodge things, even though everything else isn't targeted, so you could try to hit her through that. Jungle, Rek'Sai versus Hecarim. Both junglers that try to do something early to get going. Hecarim's skill is better, but it does require more money to get going. Rek'Sai probably has more immediate impact early on, but falls off a lot harder. So definitely see how that goes. And then, depending on what the matchup is in top lane, Kennen versus the Akali or the Vlad. Kennen versus the Vlad, I definitely like the Vlad in that matchup, because once again, you're just trying to farm up until a little bit until level 9. That's when Vlad really starts taking over the lane. The Akali is a little bit harder, because you have your Q you can throw in the dark, and you still have your W. You have a whole bunch of stuns you can try to do, but trading wise, the Akali does have a little bit better of a trading pattern with the Shroud and everything, and her passive. It's definitely something that's going to be very interesting to look forward to in this game. See what we can get into for the start of the game. Going through all the drafts. Do the stream delay. Alright. So it looks like we had what was going to be a standard 5-point, and then get a nice little invade going. On the bot side, get some wards, which is actually really good. So it is Vlad top, which I do like, into the Kennen. Not a huge fan of Klepto on Kennen into range matchups, but it's still doable. Both junglers are starting at opposite sides of the map, which is perfectly fine. If the Akali hit the second Q there, that would have been a really good trade for the Akali. Akali going with the Electrocute is definitely going to be more for burst trades, not survivability. A lot of times you'll see Fleet, they're trying to survive the lane. This one, they're just trying to do as much damage as possible. And see, that's what I kind of mean there, where I don't like the Kennen Klepto. While he did get a lot of Klepto procs off of that, which is really good, he ended up losing the trade there. And you have to try to do trades like that just so that you can get your money going and make use of your Keystone. Both junglers are going for the max XP route, which you don't know is basically you go from camp to Krugs, because Krugs gives the most XP, and you want to try to reset those. And that's the combo right there. Is you've landed binding into a trap. There's just nothing you can do. And with the bot lane hitting level 2 first for blue team, it's pretty much going to be, I don't want to say impossible, it's going to be really difficult for red team to be able to get this all-in going. Like right now, like you should probably look to do an all-in right now, especially while binding's down. Oh, goes for the hook. Black Shield. Black Shield's down. Now you definitely could go for an all-in because Black Shield's a relatively long cooldown, but you have the wave pushing in with the cannons, going to make that a lot harder to do. Everyone's CS is pretty good except for bot lane, and like I said, this is one of those ones where it's definitely going to be looking rough, so definitely going to need some jungle attention from bot lane, which is perfectly fine because you have the Rek'Sai going to be pathing bot, trying to get the Scuttle Crab. That's exactly what needs to happen here. Top lane needs to be play passive, which he is already, so it's perfectly fine. Mid lane, a lot of kill pressure, and I'm actually thinking that it would be whoever gets the first influence kind of wins that, I'm guessing. Kali is, it looks like they're going for this all-in. Definitely gonna be a thing. Focusing the wrong targets though. You had the Nautilus hitting the Morgana instead of the Caitlyn, but they should definitely get the double kill, and that's kind of just how, oh, maybe not, flash over the wall. That's just kind of how that matchup goes, where if you can get the all-in, you can get the kill, but they were pretty far behind from before, still don't get the kill, which is pretty bad. This is a terrible time for the wave to be pushing back into Kennen. Because Vlad needs to know he's on the weak side of the map, so he needs to like ward his Tribush or do something else. Because you had your jungler show bot lane, and you know that how the jungle routes went. So I am kind of surprised. Missed the enhanced auto. Didn't need the W, but that didn't really do anything. Hecarim didn't charge with his E initially, so it was kind of awkward. Let's see. So Vlad just needs to farm up, just keep farming up over and over until it hits level 9. Then he can start looking for decent trades, favorable trades onto the Kennen. Mid lane is pretty explosive, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing who starts winning that matchup. With bot lane, with the Nautilus and the jungler roaming mid, looking to do some pressure, but I think they got spot out. Yeah, they got spot out on the Pixel ward right here. So I definitely need to sweep that. It was pink ward. So there's that. Bot lane's in some deep trouble because of the CS discrepancy. So you need to have the Akali roaming down or the Rek'Sai keep repeat ganking and try to fix this lane, because honestly, top lane is just going to go relatively even. The Kennen might have priority for a little bit. And see, like walking up like that, you definitely can just get some pressure going like that for the Vlad, because that's just, you just use all your cooldowns in front of the Vlad. So, but none of them were 6 yet, so it didn't matter. Here's the Akali. She should live? Yeah, she lives. So, definitely might look for some MR, get some boots or something maybe. Rek'Sai just clearing his jungle, trying to get some more farm going for that. This matchup in top lane is going to be a lot more favorable for the Vlad. Bot lane's still in big trouble just because it's Caitlyn versus Trist, and it's always going to be a matchup like that unless you get pressure. They're looking to take the Dragon, which is fine. They might have Vision on the Rek'Sai basing, but your bot lane's so far behind, but they're full health, so... And he doesn't have ult either, so this is kind of an iffy Dragon if the jungler was there, but he's not, so... Definitely a fine take. Yeah, this is one of those where you have an all-in lane and you just need to keep constantly be playing around this lane for bot lane for red side. Because if you don't, then you're just gonna fall super far behind for range. Kind of like to see how many turret platings you've gotten so far, but taking the Scuttle Crab. Kali is building straight AP, probably going further to Gunblade. First item, pretty standard. So what you could try to do is try to have the support just roam mid, try to snowball that, and then have that then rebound to bot lane. I'm not sure if that's what you really want, because right now, like for example, the Trist can't walk up onto that huge wave. Being all in from the Vlad, this is kind of exactly what you expect to see. Kennen, they both didn't buy, so obviously that show. Oh, he's dead with the gank there. It kind of just shows that like you really should have bought at some point before level 6 probably, or definitely even later or earlier. But that's kind of where if neither of you buy over and over, it ends up being one of those things where the Vlad's gonna win because he has natural sustain, right? And the trades for Annie versus Akali is going to be better for Annie because Annie's trade potential is a lot easier. It's harder to miss everything. So unless get far ahead, the Akali's going to have a hard time early on. So get a turret plate in bot lane helps even out some gold. They're actually not too far behind in CS anymore. It's kind of surprising, but they do have all this to pick up, I guess. We'll see. They got in one turret plate too, so Botlane's not too far behind, but they definitely need to try not to fall any further behind. Otherwise, it's going to be a rough catch-up game. Kennen roaming down, trying to put some wards down. Hecarim clearing out wards mid. Rek'Sai is looking to maybe counter gank for mid lane. So the Vlad should be pushing up, which he is. Nice, trying to go into river, put a ward down. And the Kennen going back top lane, which is fine. Rek'Sai is going back to jungling. Honestly, should be looking for a gank in bot lane probably. You have the Morgana playing pretty far back, which is actually really smart because the Morgana is just going to be looking to black shield the Caitlyn because that's all that needs to happen. And now you have the Hecarim on bot side too, so the gank opportunity might be a little questionable. So definitely playing it right in bot. I really like them to have more turret plates though. They only have 4 at 10 minutes. They only done 1 turret plate at 10 minutes. They're playing pretty safe. They can probably play a little bit more aggressive if you have the Hecarim playing around them a little bit more. This bush is always pinked, so it is making it a little hard for the jungle to have some attention in bot lane. You can't have the mid lane roam. So just keep farming under tower. Only 10 CS behind, so honestly this is actually perfectly fine for bot. If they want to keep playing this way, it's really good, making it where you're not too far behind and you have an AD carry that does scale better than the Caitlyn. The only issue is like she definitely Tristana needs a lot of items to be able to do anything. But the thing is, we also want more need more stuff to get done on the Rek'Sai side, because definitely going to start feeling pretty bad in about 5 minutes compared to the Hecarim. So gets hit by the binding, is going to get hit, and so that was one of the situations where you really either needed a flash or throw the hook to buffer the binding. But it always feels bad when you flash and then your AD carry is going to get hit because the Tristana's right behind him. So that was pretty rough. But this is kind of, you just get poked out constantly. So it's pretty rough for that. I'm also a huge fan of going like static shift first in Tristana if you're not going to all in all the time. Because that way, you can just keep clearing. Gets found out on the camp because need wards elsewhere. Also don't have pressure in mid lane because mid lane just seems to be pretty even and you have the support roaming up now. So he's trying to get something on the other side of the map, which is the right thing to do. But we have the Vlad going in. So nobody gets the kill though. Doesn't have enough damage. Doesn't have his first item yet. So it's a little too early for the Vlad to group. You have no other follow-up, which is kind of the problem. So this is kind of where Kedden's still more valuable than the Vlad. They're going to pop the Rift Herald. Probably get most of mid. Alright, we get some plays made by the Tristana. Gets the reset on the jump. Gets the flash again. But honestly, that just doesn't go well because Tristana's just too far behind. Like, if Tristana had the BF sword here instead, like, you actually could do some pretty gnarly plays and actually got the kill there. Get some kills mid, which is really good. We can actually look what happened there. Pretty sure it's just that they had no vision on what actually was happening. So, let's see. So you get to see this cool play. All summoners on 80 carries falling down. That just kind of shows where Tristana's all-in is just super strong. And if they were even on gold. Yeah, so they didn't have vision on Raptors. So you can easily just come over the thing. And also, someone get hooked here, or are they just diving? Oops, let's see. Good to see this play again. Turret shot helps. Flash. Okay, so what happens here? So the Annie walks up. Okay, so Annie's trying to zone, has the stopwatch. Problem is no one's like super low except for the Akali, who's just going to throw on her Shroud right away. So if you don't 100-0 her, you're probably not going to kill her because you don't know where she is. So, but with the stopwatch, should be able to survive okay. But you're still under turret. Like, you're all the way over here. And you're going to have to walk straight out without doing anything else. Otherwise, you're going to die in a turret, right? Because the tower is not going to die because it's got too much armor. And then you have the Rek'Sai coming over here because you have no vision. While you had your zoning mid lane Annie under tower in a really bad position. So the Annie honestly should not be here. The Annie should be back here. I mean, you can zone, but like if you're in a zone, like you might as well be like right here trying to hide behind the hardcore CC that Nautilus has, instead of trying to push out what you thought was probably just the Akali. But this is just all lack of vision, right? You have no vision here, so you didn't know. And even if like the Rek'Sai wasn't here, like if it's just the Akali and the Nautilus, like this is still kind of a bad play to do. So you get the Akali because the Akali's low, comes out of the Shroud. And tower is helping, plus you have the flank by the Vladimir. And Annie gets out because everyone was focusing everyone else. There's a nice flash. Get the play there. Might get the Morg here. Get the flash on that. Get the Empowered Q. Nope, alright, you don't have W. So that was just more of posturing that was not good without vision. If you had vision, like I said, on the Raptors itself, and also if you weren't going to get flanked by the Vlad, it would have been perfectly fine. And he did get out from under the tower, but still dies. So it's definitely a good fight. And that gets them some gold that they need. Nautilus might be dead here again. Yep. Can't really be clearing wards at half HP. So not good. Tristana is looking to do the IE first build, which is fine. Still behind, 20, 30 gold now, or 30 CS plus 2 kills. So not great. Kali still doesn't have her first item. Could definitely try to roam up to top lane maybe and try to get some kills and snowballing there. Staying at mid is fine if you can get pressure there, but roaming out of lane is just one of the big things you can do as a mid laner. You can get the bot turret. It's good. Annie's roaming for the cutoff, maybe for the dive, but sees a Rek'Sai and gets out. Gets to slow on the Kennen. The Kennen just uses E. He doesn't have a way out, except for his ult. And here we go. See, that's one of those plays where you can just roam up top to do. Maybe sacrifice some CS mid or something. But since the Annie roam bot to make a play, you make your own play. Also, the Kennen shouldn't be there because he's on the weak side of the map. So he definitely should be sitting as tower, playing safe. Kali trying to disengage from the Annie who has stun up and ult. You get the dragon again. A lot of this is because of vision. They don't have any vision on the dragon or around dragon. Definitely could have made for the fight though, because you still had Vlad with ult. Ken was still dead. Doesn't have ult. He had TP, but doesn't have ult. So they could have made for a play if they all 5-man there, but probably felt that the Annie ult stun was going to be too much and throw the fight there, possibly. Let's see. So here enough for red team. They really need to probably put the Akali in bot lane right here and throw in the Trist and Nautilus in the mid. Mostly just so that the Nautilus can roam and make plays elsewhere and Trist can wave clear. Which is, again, this is like one of the reasons why I like the Static Shiv buy here first. Just because the IA is better in all-ins because the AD helps a lot with your E and your R and everything, but since that's not happening, need more wave clear, especially with Akali, who can't really wave clear that well, and Vlad doesn't wave clear that well either. So, but they didn't know they were going to fall that far behind, necessarily. So, Kennen being behind is really good, so his ult's not going to do too much damage. Hecarim does have some kills, which is a little scary, but definitely one of those things that might be able to avoid depending on how the team fights are played out. Right now, they just need to be playing around the Vlad, who's going to be getting strong. He's going to be going for what looks like a Spellbinder pretty soon. It's perfectly fine. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of Spellbinder and the Proto Belt, but it's alright. What happens here? So you have your Vlad backing off because he knows everyone's in vision. The Kali is trying to roam up for a flank, but you have no vision anywhere here. So like literally everyone except for the Kennen and the Annie could be in this bush. So this is not the play you want to do. You want to go the safe way because you have no vision anywhere, right? You have to play around as if they are in this bush. They're not, but it kind of happens where you get binded into a trap, into everyone else rotating. So there's nothing you could do. So you just need to play the safe way there. Like your team's playing safe at the secondary turret, and you're trying to go from all the way behind without vision, without knowing where anyone else is at. So that was just a mistake. It could have been played around. It would have been a good flank, but then, you know, this is not that great. Other issue is that red team's engage is kind of iffy. You have Nautilus as your main engage, so that if you have someone like the Hecarim, who's not tanky, so I guess right now you have no one that can take the Nautilus hook, but if you space around it, like that's your only engage besides Flash W from the Rek'Sai, which is the main problem with Rek'Sai later on, is that she doesn't really do much except for Flash W essentially. So outside of that, like the engage potentials and trying to come back in the game through that are pretty limited for red side. So if they just play around that, the blue side should actually do pretty well. The one strength that red side has though is that you do have Vlad, who pretty much outscales everyone in the side lane, and he should be able to split by himself pretty well. Same thing with the Akali, but the Akali needs to be in a 1v1, not trying to be in a great team fight, because that's one of the big things with Akali is that she scales really well if you can navigate team fights right. If you can't, then it's pretty hard. You kind of fall on your face sometimes. So both the junglers farming up, and so right now we like for the Akali and the Tristana to be in the same lane. All right, you should definitely have the Akali probably in bot lane because you don't really have to worry about a 20-minute Baron. So you have the Akali in bot lane for the dragon that's going to be coming up, and you have the Vlad in top lane who has TP just in case a fight happens. But yeah, you shouldn't have two carries in the same lane at the same time. You got Vision here. They need to be playing safe. Get the TP out of the Kennen, thinking there was going to be a fight. Might get the catch onto the Akali, but the Akali's got 3 different dashes, so it should be fine. Take a lot of damage, though. And this is all about vision. Like, you need to play safe. You can't be going through the jungle, right? It's just one of those things where this is their jungle, essentially, right now until you get it cleared. But should be able to get top turret with that TP play. Kennen's also low without Kennen ult, so this next dragon's actually going to be contestable by red side, I'm pretty sure. So without Annie having her second item is definitely a thing too. You know, 1 item crossed everyone except for Caitlyn's got 1.5 items. So this is a dragon that's definitely worth you could fight over. It is Air Drake, so it might not be something you want to fight over. So definitely one of those things. Our Baron came up. Should probably try to get the Scuttler on that. Tristana falling 50 CS behind, not great, but once again trying to just get some farm on her, get her to probably second item is when she's going to start feeling relatively decent. Caitlyn's going for the heavy AD build. This helps with your ult and your Q, and it makes your DPS not as great as if you're just going to be doing straight up autos. But if you're not going to do a straight up team fight like they haven't really seen, then this build's actually perfectly fine for poking, and it helps with your trap damage and your net damage and everything a lot. So Spellbinder completed on the Vlad. It's the only one who's got second item. It's really good, so he's going to be your most powerful one to play around. Melanocon is completed on the Kennen. Try to help stop the healing from the Vlads. The appropriate response here. Still probably loses in the 1v1 on the side lane, though. Get some ghosts from the Annie. This is try to do some catch potential, because outside of Hecarim, there's actually not a real good way of starting a fight. You just need to have either flash Annie ult or try to make a catch with Morg Binding. So the Akali gets pushed out and it's forced to flash. You do have your Vlad in bot lane, which is exactly what you want. Try to get some turrets and a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not sure about this TP here. I think they see that they're starting the Baron, but they're actually just trying to bait it. So it's kind of a waste of a TP, and that's all that play was supposed to do, is trying to get the TP out. So it's actually pretty bad that red team fell for that, because now it's going to be a lot harder for them to pressure, because if they cut the Vlad there, right, and you'd be able to get some vision onto the Baron, then you could see, and like the Vlad TPing right into the Baron isn't the worst, except for the fact that they have a Caitlyn. If they can't get the trap down, it's actually kind of fun because you get the ult down and you can pull immediately, which is really good. But the Vlad's actually kind of squishy because it doesn't have the Zhonya's, which is pretty decent for team fighting. This is definitely more for I'm trying to 100 to 0 someone with a Spellbinder. So definitely get to see more of that. So I'll try to skip over this pause. There's someone had the internet reset possibly. Okay, there we go. So red team just needs to try to keep Baron visioned up. Try not to die for it though. And now that you don't have any, we got to be careful of that, sadly. So that's one of those things where you just have to be careful how you walk around vision, because if someone's like over there, over that wall, you just die as a support. Especially since your Nautilus without your support Nautilus does kind of suck. Getting chased down. Two of the ghosties went up earlier. Looking for a kill. Aniel is down, so that does help a little bit, but your main form of engage is gone. You do have flash knock up on the Rek'Sai. Ken's going back top lane. Try to push out that wave. Nautilus is back alive. Big thing here is that no one's got any pink wards besides the Nautilus, so it's kind of rough trying to get vision, take back vision without having any pink wards on the team. It's not good. No pink wards over here except for the support, so just an FYI. Everyone can buy pink wards, not just the support, so definitely try to do that because vision is actually really good, especially on blue side. For blue team, they actually really need to try to stop this vision, so they need to have more pink wards. And if you look, as I just said, everyone's buying pink wards. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. So it's definitely a thing that needed to happen here because you need to get a lot of vision around Baron because that's kind of be the natural flow of the next play. Because once again, you're either trying to catch people out on blue side because you have a very good catch potential with Morgana binding and Annie in a bush and everything. So that's really good. And red team needs to do the opposite. They need to put vision down so they don't get caught. So that's why all the pink wards are there. And try to keep Baron warded, which is definitely a thing too. So, Kennen could probably be in bot lane. They're starting up the Baron. Let's see. They're going to pull off the Baron again too. I don't know if they actually have the damage to kill Baron very fast, considering Caitlyn doesn't have a lot of attack speed. So, they definitely could have the Kennen in bot lane. So, and he takes a lot of Baron damage. Yeah, so basically you should have the Kennen, or I guess now, since if you know that Baron's not going to be a contested issue, you have the Kennen in top lane, right? Pushing that in because there's already a wave pushing, and you already have the dragon. Unless you don't think red team's going to contest at all, then you definitely keep the Kennen bot lane. So they get the dragon, another air drake, which is pretty good for Hecarim. So let's see, try to get past this pause again. Looks to be a longer one. Let's see. Alright, here we go. Back to the game. See, they take the dragon. It looks like they rotate back to the Baron, which is definitely a thing. And they keep the Kennen bot lane, so this is definitely what you want as blue team. This makes it where you have pressure because you know your Vlad doesn't have TP because you used it last time when you were trying to bait Baron. So I guess theoretically you could have the Akali there so that if the Kennen tries to TP in front of you, you can follow with the Akali Shuriken. And okay. So this is one of those things where they really want to try to get vision onto the Baron. But what they needed to do is ward this bush here, right? So you can go through here, go to the back of the red buff, ward here first, so that you know if they're doing the Baron. And also you have Tremor Suns. So if no one's moving at all, you ward this first, and then you can ward there. Because if you try to just cheat the steps and go there, that's what happens. You just get ganked and killed from this bush. Because we've seen that they haven't started it ever. They haven't even put it down to half HP. at all since the entire time they've been doing it, trying to bait this Baron. So there's definitely a good chance that they're not going to do it because, honestly, they have no one that can really tank it, right? You have full damage Hecarim right now with Warrior and Triforce. You have full damage Kennen, and like everyone else doesn't build tank. So it's one of those things where unless you're going to do Tivers on it, like no one can take the Baron for a relatively long time. So they either have to commit to it or they have to bait it. So that's one of the things you have to realize. So you have to definitely go through the steps of warding here first and then warding there. Because even if you get a ward, right, onto the Baron, and they're doing it, right, you still have Kennen bot lane, so it's still going to take them a couple seconds to TP in. And, you know, you only have Rek'Sai who's going to be able to get over the wall, right? So, I mean, you can have Triss go over the wall, but that's just not really what's going to happen. So it's definitely one of those things where you just ward here first, then ward there. So because of that, now you get instant 2 kills onto your bot lane. And I'm pretty sure your Rek'Sai dies. But this is a pretty good fight, though. Because you had Kennen. So that was actually like a halfway decent fight for how far behind you are, and also because your bot lane immediately died. Kennen TP came in pretty late. Like Kennen only got assist on one person, or actually got a kill on Vlad too, I guess. But without Zhonya's and Vlad, it makes him a little bit harder to stay alive in these fights. But he didn't get a lot of AoE damage, so that's pretty good. See if they go for the Baron. I don't think they can. They don't have the tankiness for it, like I mentioned. So they'll probably try to go for mid tower here. Might go for the Baron. They don't have an Ocean Drake, which is kind of concerning. They do have a Mountain Drake, though. So they should be able to do it if the Kennen switches aggro. Yeah, they'll be able to do it if the Kennen tanks for a little bit. Yeah, they'll be able to do it. Caitlyn's got enough items. It doesn't matter. So, alright, so now with Baron off the table, red team needs to set up defensive warding and try to wait out the Baron buff. Vlad's still probably your strongest member. It looks like he's going for a Void Staff next, which isn't really needed. There's no MR. I mean, since you didn't go like double pen, it is nice against, you know, the base MR that people have, but really should be going for Zhonya's, which he could also be going for too, I suppose. No, because the blasting one doesn't go with the Zhonya's. So I don't know what he's building, but looks like they try to get the catch out because blue team's trying to ward without the entire team being there. Red team trying to answer back, but they're just too far behind, and they're not all groups. So Caitlyn with 3 items versus Tristana with 1.5, almost 3. Gets the PD, which is fine. Stopwatch just dies anyway, though. So this game should be over. Yeah. Not a whole lot that can be done. Vlad's going to try to do something. Actually might get a kill on the... Nope. Close on the Yanni. Very close. Again, auto off. Trying to buy time. Can't really do anything. Maybe he ulted the wave. But this should be game. So, for this game, it was all about bot lane because top lane you're going to have Kennen who's going to have push on, or going to have pressure on the Vlad. Just because Vlad doesn't really do anything until level 9. And then he starts taking over most of his matchups. Rek'Sai versus Hecarim both did get a little bit ahead early on. But the Rek'Sai just didn't seem to have enough impact in order to snowball anything. Mid lane didn't really get touched by anyone until a little bit later, which is a little surprising. Trying to blow flash like pre-6 would have been nice on either one, honestly. And then bot lane is kind of just how this game unfolded. I mean, you got 9-1 and 4 on the Caitlyn versus the 0-3-1 on the Triss and the 0-5 on the Nautilus. To be honest, Morgana, Caitlyn is super strong and really hard to deal with. But if they were going to be dealt with by the Tristana Nautilus, it could have happened. The only issue is that really what needed to happen was you need to have jungle attention and just re-gank over and over and have the all-in potential Because while Morgana Binding or Morgana Binding and Morgana Black Shield is gonna stop the Nautilus a little bit, it still brings them forward a little bit, and you still have the all-in potential and the damage from the Tristana. So it just needed to be that you have the position to go for either one, and whatever one doesn't get Black Shield, you have to all in. And it pretty much just needed to be the Rek'Sai needed to come chain gang over and over, because top lane, it didn't matter. Like, that was going to be a matchup that is pretty even unless, you get dove a lot by either one. And mid lane, no one really messed with it, so that definitely could have been a snowball in either way, but no one really tried to snowball at all without having vision everywhere, so nothing really could happen. So honestly, it was all about bot lane this game, and the red team just didn't get the all-ins that they needed. So that's the end of game 2.